So today's exercise of can you see on the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Okay. So the bank reconciliation exercise
Mm-hmm.
from the 2014 question paper. Question 4. Okay. So the question paper says that the you are given a cash book and you are given a bank statement, and you are told you are required to
Mm.
adjust the cash book to take the above information into account. Ne?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing under the bank or under the bank reconciliation, you will always be asked two main things, which is an updated cash book as well as your bank reconciliation statement. Those are the main two things that you will always be asked. So we are going to draw up our updated cash book, or so 4.1, and then you make sure you write the heading. Now the heading in this case is updated cash book
Mm.
of the name of the business. In this case, it's Rose, J Rose,
Yes.
for the year ended 31 December 2013. We said every book or every statement that
Yes.
that you draw up in accounting should have a heading.
Okay.
Okay. So we draw up our cash book in the same format you're given, the same format you're given. So
Mm-hmm.
in this case, we were not given any we're not given any what any cash column. So you're only given the date, the details, and the amount, which is the bank column only. Yeah. And in most
Okay.
cases, you will only be given the bank column, because when it comes to the reconciliation, we do not use cash. We do not reconcile cash. It's only the bank column.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, so the six. Okay. So we have the date, we have the details, and then we have the amount, the date, details, and then the amount, details. Okay. And then once you are done now drawing up your cash book, now this is the time where we'll have to take our cash book and our bank statement,
Mm.
and then we identify all the amounts. Now we say that all the amounts that are not appearing in the cash book should be recorded in the cash book, né? Meaning that now you go to your bank statement, and then you identify all the amounts that are not appearing in the cash book, and so you will need to record them back into the cash book. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes.
So before that, you will need to write the balance brought down. Remember that you are trying to reconcile the balance, né? So the balance
Mm.
carried down that you get of that you got of 1,831 is wrong. You are trying to reconcile it, né? You're trying to
Mm-hmm.
get the correct amount. So
Okay.
you first need to record you first need to record the balance that you will have to reconcile. Now, when you record the balance, you do not record it as a carried down, but you record it as a brought down. Now, in this case, you remember you are reconciling the balance at the end of the month, ne? Now you're in this case you're only given the balance carried down of 1831, so you will need to record it as a brought down and not a carried down. You should always record the balance as a brought down, meaning that you need to bring it down. Now, bringing down the
Mm-hmm.
balance, we say that the balance carried down is brought down at the opposite side. Meaning, if your balance
Mm-hmm.
carried down is on the credit side, then your balance brought down should be on the debit side. So you have balance brought down of, oh, a balance brought down of
850.
1831, ne? And again, when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to the date, this an updated cash book, this type of cash book is always drawn up at the end of the month, ne? Meaning this is not your
Mm-hmm.
normal cash book. You are just updating your cash book, and the updating of the cash book is done only one day, and it's done only at the end of the month. Meaning that
Okay.
your balance brought down, everything will be all the date will be the end of the month from your balance brought down. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Yes.
So your balance brought down will be on the 3rd of December.
Mm-hmm.
So 2013 December the 31st. That will be your balance brought down. So on both sides, you will have 2013 December
Mm-hmm.
the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then from there, now we compare our cash book with our bank statement. So let's start with the
Yes.
debit side of our cash book. Excluding the
Mm-hmm.
balances, we do not compare the balances. So we have Thomas 88, and 88 is also appearing on the bank statement. We have Fred 73. 73 is also
Mm-hmm.
appearing on the bank statement. Ne? And then we have
Yes.
Peter of 249 and Sarah of
Mm-hmm.
178. So these transactions are appearing on the cash book and not on the bank statement. And we said if
Yes.
transactions are not appearing on the bank statement, they are recorded in the bank reconciliation statement.
Okay.
So now in the bank statement, we have a transaction which is credit transfer
Mm-hmm.
from Walters, which is not appearing in the cash book. Ne?
Mm-hmm.
This $54 is not appearing in the cash book, and therefore it should be recorded.
Yes.
So the amount you will have Walters, you only record the name of the debtor, so it will be Walters of $54. You understand till there?
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
And then from there, that was the only amount that was not appearing on the cash book on the debit side when you compared your two sides. Now let's go to the credit side of your cash book and debit side of your bank statement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have you know the balances. So we have the Mary 349 is appearing on both sides. 33 is appearing on both sides. Ne? However,
Yes.
we have
Yes.
bank charges of 20. Okay, we have Rodney. Rodney is not appearing on the bank statement. And we say that information not appearing on the bank statement will be recorded in the bank reconciliation statement. Now we have
Mm-hmm.
bank charges of 22 that are appearing on the bank statement but not in the cash book. So the 22 of bank charges should be recorded in the cash book. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So we'll have bank charges. Bank charges of 22 Namibian dollars. Okay. So we go back to our information. Do we have any other information that are not recorded in the cash book, that are not appearing on the cash book? Now, looking at this information that you are given, and we do not even have any additional information. Yeah? Sometimes you can be given additional information, and therefore, when you are given additional information, make sure that you also make use of those additional information. Now, in this case, there are no additional
Okay.
information, so we are done with our cash book. That's the only missing amounts that were not recorded. Yeah? So the next thing
Mm-hmm.
that we do is we need to balance of our updated cash book in order to find our new or our correct balance of our cash book. So we balance off. Obviously the debit side is the biggest, so 1831 plus 54 will give you 1885, 1885 on both sides. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore you have a balance carried down of 1863. Ne? If you subtract
Mm-hmm.
the 22, are you getting the same amount?
Yes, I am. I just want to understand
Mm-hmm.
the I don't know what I don't know the okay the difference between the brought down. Okay, the brought down it's from the previous is it from the previous year or what? I don't know when to use carried down and brought down.
Okay. So the balance
Yeah.
carried down, eh? The balance
Uh,
carried down is the one that you calculate at the end of the month when you are balancing off your cash book. And the balance
okay.
carried down is always on the last day of the month because that's what you calculate, ne?
Okay.
When you're balancing off your book, either your ledger account or your cash book. The
Mm-hmm.
difference, ne? We said that
Mm-hmm.
first you find the bigger side, so obviously the debit side is the bigger side of 1885, ne? And then you write it on both sides. Then on the
Mm-hmm.
smaller side you find the difference, the
Yeah.
balancing figure, which is
Okay.
your balance carried down. Do you
Okay.
understand? So balance carried down is the one that you calculate when you are balancing, ne?
Yeah. Okay.
And it's always on the 31st. I mean, it's always on the last day of the month.
Yes. Okay.
And then from the after recording your balance carried down, it says that for every balance carried down, there should be you should bring it down to the next day. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
You should bring it down as a balance brought down. So you have
Mm-hmm.
balance brought down of 1863. So whenever you write whenever you get your balance carried down on the 31st, on the last day of the month, make sure that you bring it down to the opposite side. Meaning that if your balance carried down was on the debit side, then obviously your balance brought down could have been on the credit side. You always bring down the balance to the opposite side, and it's always on the next day. In other words, the balance brought down is always on the first day of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, in this case, it will be 2014 January
Mm-hmm.
the first, because that is the first day. From 2013 December the 31, then it's 2014 January the first. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Now we said that the balance brought down is always on the first day of the financial period of the month. Now looking at this, we have a balance brought down on the last day of the month. This is simply because this amount was wrong. You are trying to adjust it, ne? And you adjust it at the
Mhm.
at you adjust your cash book at the end of the month, ne? That's why you have a balance brought down at the end using on the 31st of December, because this is not your final figure. You are trying to adjust this amount which is wrong. So after getting the correct amount, that's when you bring it down to the next financial period or to the next day. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions before we move on?
It's fine.
Okay. So if you are to look at this exercise, it is worth 15 marks. Imagine these are 3 marks.
Okay, let me just confirm, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when we are doing the updated cash book,
Mm-hmm.
so basically we are looking at the amounts
Mm-hmm.
that are not reflecting
Mm-hmm.
on the bank statement, on the opposite, ne?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's on the credit, in the amounts on the credit side, we look it up on the debit side, ne?
Mm-hmm.
Or what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, okay. I think it's fine.
Okay.
It's yeah.
So the cash book, you look the
So you're
debit
saying
side.
it's
If you even feel like you're confusing, you don't know which sides like to compare. Maybe you don't know if you're comparing the
yeah.
debit side of your cash book with the credit side of your bank statement. You look at the amount, ne?
Mm,
You can already tell that okay, I have 88 on the debit side of a cash book and 88 on the bank state and on the credit side of the bank statement. So I have to compare these
mm,
two sides.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Mm. And
Okay.
then the amounts that are not appearing in the cash book, the amounts that are not appearing,
Mm,
the amounts that are not reflecting on the cash book, you make sure that you record them.
okay.
Like the $22 of bank charges is not appearing in the cash book, and also the credit transfer of wealth tax is not appearing in the cash book, and that's what we recorded.
Okay.
Okay. The next part, we are told to draw up our bank reconciliation statement. So we have a fixed formula of drawing up a bank reconciliation statement. So the
Mm-hmm.
first you write the heading bank reconciliation of J Ross as at 31 December 2013. Now the formula of drawing up a bank reconciliation is fixed. You have
Mm-hmm.
balance as per bank statement, add outstanding deposits, you less unpresented checks, and then what you get is the balance as per cash book. So that is the formula, or that is the format of a bank reconciliation statement. Ne?
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
now we go to our information. What is our balance as per bank statement? So we go to our balance column. The last amount in your balance column is the balance as per bank statement, the 1,551. So
Okay.
1,551 is our balance per bank statement. And then you move on
Mm-hmm.
to add outstanding deposits. Ne? So Now, the outstanding deposits and the unpresented checks, these are the amounts that are appearing on the cash book, but they are not appearing on the bank statement. You understand?
Yes.
And we said that amounts that are on the debit side of your cash book, but that are not reflecting on your bank statement, are known as outstanding deposits. And this is Peter 249 and Sarah 178. What does this mean? This simply means that Peter and Sarah gave checks, ne? They gave checks, but the checks were not yet deposited. Do you understand? So the bank does not know whether whether the business received a checks from Peter and Sarah. Do you understand?
Yes.
So these are outstanding deposits. We received the money, but we did not deposit it yet. And because we received a check in our cash book, we recorded that our bank account has increased. But in reality, because we never went to the bank and cash out and deposit those checks, the bank statement will not be reflecting the amount. And therefore, we need to add it. In other words, the amounts that are on the debit side that are not appearing on your bank statement are referred to as outstanding deposits. So you add your amounts together, you have Peter of 249 plus Sarah of 178. So then you get your amount. So how much are your total outstanding deposits? So 249 plus 178 will give us 420 and 27. Ne? To understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And then you move on to less unpresented checks. Now we said unpresented checks. These are the checks we made payments, we gave checks, ne? So we gave checks to our suppliers, but because our suppliers did not go to the bank yet and cash out those checks, the bank wouldn't know that we gave our suppliers a check. You understand? And therefore, that's why the amount is not reflecting on our bank statement. But then because we gave out the check, the moment we gave out a check, we recorded in our cash book that okay, no, we gave out a check, Rodney, of 115. Our bank account decreased with 115 because of the check we gave to Rodney. But because Rodney did not go to the bank yet, by the time we received our bank statement, Rodney still did not go to the bank and cash out that check. That's why it's not appearing on the bank statement, and therefore we need to make an adjustment in our bank reconciliation.
Okay.
So in other words, the amounts that are appearing on the credit side of your cash book, ne, and not appearing on the bank statement are known as your unpresented checks.
Okay.
Now with our unpresented checks, we only have one, which is Rodney of 115. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. So from there, you do your calculations. So let's do our calculations, and this amount, because it's being subtracted, it's less. You need to put it in brackets. So what we get is our balance as per cash book. What we get should be balanced as per cash book.
So the 400 minus the 115 or what?
Which now you start with balance as per bank statement, which is 1,551. You add your outstanding deposits of 427, and then you minus
then I minus.
your unpresented checks of 115. How much are you getting?
1,863.
1863. And now your balance as per bank or as per cash book, the amount that you get should be the same as the amount that you got in your updated cash book. So if the amounts are different, then there's a mistake somewhere. The amounts should be the same. Now you know that, okay, now we have reconciled our cash book and our bank statement. They are now having the same balance. Your bank reconciliation has 1863 and our
Mm.
bank and our cash book has 1863.
Mm. Okay.
Do you understand?
I do.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that is how you draw up a bank reconciliation statement. So please just go, if you go back to the slides, there
Mm.
are different, there are two formulas. This is a formula of when you have a favorable bank balance, meaning you have money in
Mm.
your bank account. There is a
Mm-hmm.
formula of where when you are given an overdraft, because sometimes you can be given an overdraft
Mm-hmm.
and we said that the formula when given an overdraft is balance as per bank statement. You
Mm.
less outstanding deposits, you add unpresented checks. So it's the opposite. When it's
Okay.
a bank overdraft, you add unpresented checks and you minus outstanding deposits. Then you get your balance as per cash book.
Okay.
When you are given bank overdraft.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So that's it with the bank reconciliation. So
Mm.
the next questions are just theory. What is bank reconciliation statement? So we say that a bank reconciliation statement is a statement that is used to reconcile our bank statement with our cash book.
Mm.
And then you also asked to name two reasons for differences in balance between cash book and bank statement. They said that this
Mm.
a reason can be of that there were checks received but not yet deposited, so those are outstanding deposits. And also
Mm-hmm.
unpresented checks can also be a reason.
Mm.
And also bank charges.
Mm-hmm.
Bank charges can be the reason,
Mm.
or bank transfers when the bank receive money on behalf or like collects money on behalf of the owner. Ne? These are, for example, the debit orders, the standing orders, and so
Mm.
yeah. So there are a lot of reasons. If you go in your slide, you will get a lot of reasons of why the two balances may not balance.
Okay. I see. I
So any
think
questions?
no questions. I think here the
Mm-hmm.
exercise is not difficult. You must just go through the theory for you to fully understand it so
Yeah,
that
you
you
just
don't
need to
make
go back to the theory that we did
mistakes.
the previous time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So this format is very easy.
Mm.
Or let me say all formats are easy. So there is another one where you are given only transactions. Let me just see if I can get it now. Where you're given only transactions. What is happening with my phone? Reconciliation statement. Bank reconciliation statement. Let me check it. No. I think what slides are those? There are certain slides. Let me just quickly Lydia. Okay. Mm, documents. Okay. So I'm
I
quickly
think
going to
once.
send you. This is a basic financial accounting slide. It is a
Mm.
very good example of a bank reconciliation statement, which does not have whereby you're not given a cash book and a bank statement, but you are only given transactions. Ne?
Okay.
So we said sometimes you can only be given transactions, and then
Mm.
you'll be required to draw up your
In the question paper so far, did you see the ones with only transactions?
No, so far in the question papers, I've seen only the ones with the cash book and bank statement in all the question papers that I went through.
Oh.
Yeah, it's only that I didn't see the recent question papers, but yeah, all the question papers that I've seen,
Mm.
it's only the one that has already a balance, a bank statement and a cash book, plus the ledgers, the 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 the
Mm.
creditors and the suppliers reconciliation statement. You check in the links that I've sent you. That was part of the
Mm.
2013 question paper.
Mhm.
It's just similar to the bank statement. So what you can do is
Mhm.
you can first go check out the videos, and then we can do the what the creditors ledger the creditors reconciliation statements.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, quickly just check your WhatsApp.
Okay.
And then you go to the last slide.
Okay.
So if you go to the last slide,
Mm.
you're given a homework of two different kind of bank reconciliation.
Yes.
So the first one, you are given a cash book and bank statement, like the one that we did
Mm.
here. And the second one, you are given only
Uh-huh.
transactions, ne?
Mm.
Okay. Now, how do you record? How do you identify this transaction? So the first thing, you read the transaction and then you identify whether it's going in the cash book or it's going on the bank statement. Now let's look at the transaction.
Mhm.
Transaction 1, a deposit of 1,590 made on 31 March is not shown on the bank statement. Where will we record this transaction?
Mm. It's not shown in the bank statement. We
Mhm.
are going to it will go to the bank reconciliation.
Ah,
To the
so
bank reconciliation
so
statement.
it's going in the bank reconciliation because this amount is not appearing on the bank statement. This is an outstanding deposit. We deposited the money on the
Mm.
last day. Remember, for that matter, we deposited it on the 31st of March. And on the 31st of March, that is when we received our bank statement. So we
Okay.
probably received our bank statement before we even deposited. You understand? So that is an
Yes.
outstanding deposit. It is not shown, it's not reflecting on the bank statement. And therefore, it should be recorded in the bank reconciliation statement. Ne?
Mhm. Yes.
And then the bank has erroneously debited a stop order of for 100 against the bank account. So we said that sometimes it's not just the differences between the cash book and the bank statement that we can
Mm-hmm.
record. Sometimes they can be also errors made. Ne?
Yes.
Maybe the bank is the one that made an error. Now in that case where the bank
Mm.
is the one that made an error, you need to correct that error in obviously in the bank reconciliation statement. You will need to correct the
Mm-hmm.
error. Or maybe the business is the one that made an error while recording. So we made a mistake and therefore we
Mm.
need to correct our mistake in our cash book. Do you understand? Now, for example, the
Yes.
transaction 2, the bank made an error. Ne?
Mm-hmm.
The bank made an error by debiting a stop order by subtracting 100 from our bank account. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So they subtracted $100 from our account by mistake, and therefore we need to make an adjustment of that. Now, when the bank made an error in your balance reconciliation statement, what you do is you just edit your your balance of your bank reconciliation statement. So this
Mm-hmm.
error is not an outstanding, it's not part of the formula. It's not an outstanding deposit, nor is it an unpresented check. It's just an error that is made. So what you do is when you take your balance as per bank statement, ne, before you record your balance as per bank statement, in brackets, you do your calculations. You understand? So if the balance per bank reconciliation is maybe 200, so, for example, can you quickly check on the screen? For example, the error was made now in this exercise, that one that we're doing. So in brackets, before you even record the 1,151, in brackets, you do your calculations, 1511, and then we say that the $100 was mistakenly deducted from our account, and therefore we need to add it back with 100,
Okay.
like that. So you simply do your calculations to correct your errors. Because that error is not an outstanding deposit, nor is it an unpresented check. It's just an error made by the bank, and therefore you just need to correct it by reconciling or by adjusting your bank statement balance. So 1,551, and then you'll get 1,651 as your bank statement account
Okay.
or bank statement balance. Do you understand?
Mhm. Yes, I do.
Ah,
Yes, I do.
okay. And then you go to
Mm.
number 3. Number 3 says the following checks issued by the entity have not yet been presented for payment. What does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
What type of account is it? Have not yet presented for payment. Where are we recording this transaction? Hmm?
We are we are
Huh?
putting them in the wait checks issued in the entity. We are putting them in our cash book on the
The following checks issued by the entity have not yet been presented. The word not yet presented already tells you that that is an unpresented check. Not
mm,
yet presented, meaning that
mm,
the entity or the business issued out checks,
mm,
they gave out checks, but
mm,
because the people that received the checks never went to the bank and cash out those checks, the bank will not know that we gave out checks, the entity gave out checks. So these checks are not yet presented for payment. To understand?
oh
So
yes.
the money was not yet deducted from our bank account because they did not, our suppliers did not take the checks yet to the bank. These are unpresented checks, and therefore unpresented checks are recorded in the bank reconciliation statement. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Sarah.
Number 4, the bank has collected a bill of 2,110 for the business, for the entity. The transaction has
Mm,
not yet been recorded in the entity's books. So what the bank did, the bank collected a bill of 2,110, ne?
mm-hmm.
But the transaction was not recorded in the entity's books. So we are not aware that they saw somebody that deposited money into our business bank account. Do you understand?
Mm.
This
Mm-hmm.
transaction was not recorded in the entity's books, and therefore it should be recorded. So this transaction is not appearing on the cash book. Do you understand?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay. And then number 5, the bank credited 30. interest to the entity's account. Now, these are the charges. Not charges, sorry. You are told that the bank
Interest.
credited 30. So the word credited, what does it tell you? Our account has been credited with $30 interest. This simply means that the bank added a $30 into our bank account. We received a $30 from the bank as interest. And we did not know. The bank will not call us and tell us that, okay, no, we gave you a $30 interest. No, this will only be seen in the bank statement. Therefore, the bank credited 30 interest into the entity's account. Therefore, this transaction is not appearing in the entity's book, so it should be recorded back into the cash book. Credited meaning that we received money, and therefore it will be recorded on the debit side of our cash book. You understand?
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. And then number 6, a check number 633 for 150. So a check of 150 issued to Josmas Limited was entered as 510 in the cash payment journal. Cash payment journal is now the cash book. It's only that I think this activity was taken from the old books. The old books use cash journals, but now we refer to as referred to as a cash book. Now what they did is the check was 450, but then when we recorded in the cash book, we recorded it as 510. So that is an error that was made in the cash book. The error was made in the cash book, and therefore we just need to correct that error. Ne? That is just an error that was made in the cash book. So it won't appear on the bank reconciliation statement. You understand?
But how do you record it?
Okay. So now you are told that the check is for 150. You understand? The check is for 150, but when we recorded it, we gave Josmas a check, right? So that transaction was recorded on the credit side of our cash book. Now, instead of us recording 150, that no, our bank balance decreased with 150 because we gave out a check of 150, we wrote 510. So we wrote a bigger amount. Therefore, we will need to cancel out the part of the amount. Now it's like you're saying that no, the 510 was deducted from our bank account, but in reality it was only 150 that was deducted. So in that case we need to add back the amount, or we need to cancel out part of the amount that was wrongly recorded. So you need to find the difference. So 510 minus 150 should be recorded on the debit side. Remember, when you want to cancel off an amount, it should be recorded on the opposite side. For example, check if you let's look in our cash book there. An example in our cash book. So let me say our I don't know what is mom arguing about. Okay. So what meaning what we did with this transaction, we recorded 510, ne? On the credit side, we recorded 510 instead of 150. But the real amount is 150. Do you understand? So we need to correct this amount to make sure that we only have 150 here instead of 110. So we first have to find the difference, which is 510 minus 150. So the difference is 360. Therefore, we need to cancel out a 360 out of the 510 in order for us to only remain with 150. Now, to cancel out an amount, obviously you will need to record it on the opposite side. So you record 360. You understand?
Mm.
Now, if we are to
Yes.
balance off, let me say these are the only amounts that we had in our cash book. Now, if you are to balance off this, obviously you'll be left with only 150. 360, here you will only be left with 150. Do you understand? So 360, it will be
Mm.
cancelled out, will cancel out each other,
Mm.
plus the 360 that is here, and then you only be left with 150. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And then you also told bank charges for March 2000 amount to 140. So your bank charges of 140. Bank charges are always, they always appear in the bank statement, but never in the cash book, and therefore
Mm.
you will need to record them in the cash book. You will need to record them back in the cash book
Okay.
of 150.
Mm.
Obviously, they are bank charges. Your bank is being charged, so you are paying. This will go on the credit side of your cash book.
Yes.
And then number 8, a check of 250 received from A. Wilson was unpaid and is shown as such on the bank statement. So this is a dishonored check. Ne? So we also spoke of dishonored check when we we're explaining the summary. We said that sometimes we can get a check. Now, for example, Walters, for example, we received a check from, so Sarah gave you a check, ne? So you recorded that you received a check of
Mm.
150, ne? So you recorded, okay, no, my bank account has increased with 150 because of the check that I
Mm.
received from Sarah. Do you understand? So when you went to the bank to deposit that check,
Mhm.
it happened to be that
Mhm.
there was either a mistake in the check, in how the check was written, drawn up, or Sarah has no money in their account. So if Sarah does not have money in her account,
Okay.
there is no way the bank will deduct. What will the bank deduct? Therefore, the check
Mm.
will be dishonored. Do you understand? The
Yes.
check will bounce back. It will not be approved because there is no money in Sarah's account.
Mhm.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And therefore, when it's a dishonored check, you will need to cancel out that amount of 150 to show that no,
Mm.
to show that no, my bank account really did not increase with the 150 as I thought it did. Now, to cancel off an amount, obviously you will need to record it on the opposite side. So you will have Sarah on the opposite side,
Mm.
RD. RD, meaning refer to drawer of 150.
Mm.
So these two amounts will cancel each other out. Then it will appear that, okay, no, you did not receive any check from Sarah. So a
Okay.
dishonored check, maybe you can note it
Mm.
down. A dishonored check is recorded on the credit side of your cash, of your updated cash book. A dishonored check
Okay.
is recorded on the credit side of your cash book.
Mhm. Okay. I've got it. Hi, Sarah.
Yes, Justin?
Oh, I'm saying I've got it. A dishonor check is
You're
recorded
saying
on the
you?
credit side of the cash book.
What did you say?
I've got it. I've written it down.
Okay, that's great. So that
You
is
say
how
that this honor check is
Mhm.
always recorded. Yeah.
on the credit side of your cash book. Yeah. Any
Yes.
questions?
No questions.
Okay. But mostly
I hope they
focus.
will bring out the easy one.
Yeah, so just mainly because looking at the or
Mhm.
looking at all the question papers, you're mostly given only the what
Mhm.
the one that you have a cash book and the bank statement already. So focus more on that.
Mm.
Ne? Make sure that you
Okay.
are able to do
Mhm.
that exercise, a bank reconciliation exercise, because I'm sure, ne? Okay, let me say I'm 90% sure that it
Mm.
will come in the exam.
Mm.
And I'm
Even
100%
100%.
sure, and I think I'm 99.9% sure that inventory
Mm.
valuation will be part of the exam.
Yeah.
Plus, obviously, you will have an income statement, either a normal
Yes.
income statement or of an incomplete record state income statement.
That one I don't understand it. The one with missing what figures? Is it those
Yeah.
things?
hmm
Oh, I, that unit I
So
don't understand it at
that
all.
topic is very easy if you use the slides. So we can explain the slides tomorrow, and then we do an activity, because we have
Mm.
I think I have slides
Um,
apart from the ones that you sent me. I have slides
mm,
that
mm.
explain it very clearly, because you just need to know all the steps involved. We have five
Okay.
steps involved. We have 5 steps
Mm.
involved when when drawing up what financial statements of incomplete records. We have 5 steps that you need to know. I'm sure if you
Mm.
just if you just go through all the steps and you're able to do all the steps, then believe me, it will become very easy for you.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah. So we can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fine.
So any questions on the bank reconciliation statement?
No questions. Maybe you can. Which one can I attempt perhaps on my own?
Um okay, let me look for an okay. Try okay, no, I can't give you that one because it does not balance. So let me try giving you bank reconciliation statement. No, there's nothing here. 2014. This one has a supplier statement. Then 2011. So that's what? Yeah, no. Trying to find an exercise.
Mm. No. Okay. No, it's fine. You can have a look and then you can send me one.
Okay,
And I can just attempt it. Yes.
sure I will. Emma,
All right, Sarah. Are we
have a
having another lesson? Or
is it
are we having
today?
another lesson or are we done?
Today.
Yeah.
No, we don't have another lesson today because we're supposed to have a 5:30 class today, but happen to be that there are
Yeah,
students
with the
writing tomorrow.
group.
Yeah, with the group. There are students writing tomorrow, so we'll only meet on Friday. Oh, and again
Oh,
tomorrow my sister will be what writing her exams, online exams at
okay. No
4:30. I mean starting at
problem.
4. So I won't be able to offer classes tomorrow. Maybe in the morning, but if you're available in the morning, then I can surely give classes in the morning. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
I'm saying the network is
Oh, okay. Just give me a minute, Christine. Give me a minute.
I think I will text you.
Oh, okay. Okay, sure. Bye. Yes, Shasi? Mhm. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. We can as well have morning sessions. Okay. Thank you, Justine. Bye. Mm.